Yes, you're watching the South Australian Sports Show. We're able to convince your mate Stretchy to stay with us. Got a couple of controversial footy things we want to get to, so try and get some common sense. Not that Ando doesn't bring any common sense, Stretchy, but
easy done.
But before we get to that, we'll get to the AFL tips because some people have got to get their bets in pretty quick.
Get your pens ready.
Here we go, mate. Friday night, St Kilda sit in 15th spot. Richmond in first spot. They're at Etihad. Saints come in off a win last weekend. Richmond, of course, had the loss to GWS. Which way do you see this one going?
Pretty obvious, I think, Phil. Yeah, go with the Tigers on this one. Although the Saints did respond pretty well, but yeah, the Tigers for me.
For you?
Oh, I think, yeah, the Tigers. I actually think that the St Kilda Carlton game was one of the worst games of footy I've seen for a long time, and I think that Dwayne Russell was right in saying that Carlton are probably the 19th team in the competition at the moment.
They are pretty poor at the moment.
Very, very
Can the
poor.
coach keep his job? Can he keep his
Well,
job?
obviously during the week they said that they're going to back him for next season as well. So
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think they need
I
stability.
reckon Collingwood have shown that though by the support they gave Buckley. So full credit to Eddie Maguire because he was under the pump and so was Bucks. And then this year they've responded really well.
Yeah,
so
I think Stephen Silvani came out also the other night
Yep.
and backed his management and the footy club and the coaches.
I think so.
I think
that's
it's
the
good.
way
for
to
them.
go. Yeah, I think it's good. All right, Saturday, Collingwood in third spot, North Melbourne in ninth at the MCG. Geez, Collingwood have won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah.
North Melbourne have won 2 and lost 3.
All but won it last week.
Well, you guys have played. A game like that, does it suck a lot out of you?
Well, I think it does, especially on a big ground.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think also that Collingwood, coming off that loss, will bounce back, and I think their midfield will be a little bit too strong.
Collingwood for you?
If North Melbourne get angry with the loss,
Yep.
or if the players are so disappointed that one that got away, so it's a real mindset. If North Melbourne can get angry and say we should never have lost that game this week,
Yep.
I think North Melbourne will beat Collingwood.
I think there's a fair chance Scotty will be pumping that into
Oh,
it too, just
really?
quietly. Sydney sit in 4th spot. The Suns are in 17th. They're at the SCG. Sydney, of course, just had that huge come from behind win, and Gold Coast, they can't find any form at the moment.
Could be ugly for the Gold Coast, I think, especially in Sydney. Buddy starting to show a little bit more form coming into the finals. Again, their strength around the footy can't be questioned, so the Swannies for me.
Yeah, Swannies as well. I think they showed the strength in that last quarter, and Franklin put his hand up and said, "Here I am, and I'll win it for you guys." And yeah, you get a lot of confidence that sort of win.
Hey,
a lot of confidence.
Steve, you finish your career now. You sit back and you see Buddy Franklin on $1 million a year for 10 years. What's going through your head? Not that he doesn't deserve it, but you think, I wouldn't mind a piece of that cake.
I wouldn't mind being playing in today's day and age.
No.
I think Ando would be the same. A little bit harder. It's a lot harder to play these days, but the rewards are a lot better. I think so. I'm envious.
Yeah, you can set yourself up, can't you? I mean, really,
Absolutely.
if you can last 6 or 7 years, you're in a pretty good spot.
Exactly.
All right, Essendon sit in 12th spot. Sorry, mate. The Dockers are in 13th. They surprised Port Adelaide last weekend. It's at Etihad. What are we thinking?
Yeah, a bit too much speed for me for Essendon over the Fremantle Dockers. So I'll definitely go with the Bombers.
Yeah, I obviously go the Bombers, but I think that Port 2 players down halfway through the. It was a very average game anyway.
Yep.
Both teams made lots of mistakes. There was lots of rain. It was very hard for the ball to handle, but
Heavy on the legs.
Very heavy on the legs. And I just think that when you're 2 players down now, it's hard to win.
All right, let's talk about 2 players down. We'll come to the other games, but I want to talk about Robbie Gray getting tackled, and I don't want to get into the tackle and the suspension and all that stuff, but the fact that Robbie is out of the game and the talk of the red card. Now, years ago, most people would have said, no, we can't have that, but now we see rotations are such an important part of the game. So not only do you lose Robbie Gray as the best player you've got, but you also lose him in your rotations, and then Paddy Ryder goes down as well. You're now 2 players down.
It's quite amazing, and I'm pleased Stephen's texted me because we're at Richmond Oval watching a final when Billy was playing, and it was a reserve final, and Billy was there, then he was off, and I thought, well, this is quite a few years ago. And he goes, well, he does 3 minutes there, he'll do 3 minutes there, he'll go 3 minutes there, he gets 3 minutes off, and that's sort of the rotation. And then I realised how important that is.
Yep.
So it's not just it's the players that it's affecting; it's the other 3 players on the rotation with Robbie Gray. And I think it's nearly a red card scenario now because it's really that game really opened up my eyes to see how important that actually was to be 1 player down and 2 players down. It's pretty
And
tough.
it's a snowball effect. I'm not sure it's the right decision, but I think it should be in discussions. I think it certainly needs to be looked into a little bit more.
Yeah.
And feel sorry for the young fellow who tackled Robbie.
Yes.
Because the ball actually dropped out of the back of the tackle and he didn't actually see it, but it was a very physical tackle.
But that's the rule, though. I mean, if you head slam someone in the turf,
Yes.
whether you're young or you're experienced, he wanted to get him. You could see in his expression that he really wanted to nail Robbie Gray. Nailed him incorrectly.
Yeah.
he goes off, I think they got to get the screen and they say,
Yeah,
okay,
I
you're
agree
red
with that.
carded.
I reckon it's a grey area because if I've tackled you fair and you've got knocked out,
Yeah.
then I don't reckon you can be
Yeah.
red carded for that. But I reckon if you've been tackled and the umpires are reporting you,
Yeah.
or the people on the vision have gone, he's going to get some games for that, then I reckon
You
if
can
he's
see he
out,
definitely
you're
went
out.
like that. And that's if he went like that and threw him down with that happening,
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't have got knocked out. But if he did, it was a fair tackle. But no, that wasn't I don't think it was a fair
Ever happened to you
tackle.
in your time, Steve? Ever get tackled and dumped
Not
into the turf,
like
mate?
that. No, not like that. But
So it's an unusual one.
It
isn't
is, but I think the door's wide open now, and I think there has to be some dialogue and discussion about it.
Yeah.
I
There's
still
big
reckon
particular
Scott
head.
Salisbury might have got red carded the game and knocked me out. Look at that one.
Mate, if they had the red card, Scotty would have been lucky to play 10 games. Although he's doing a great job building. Mate, okay, let's get back to this. Brisbane Lions, I think they're starting to surprise a few people. You know, I'm a Chris Fagan fan. They still sit in 16th. The Crows are in 11th. It's at the Gabba. Lions have won their last 3 in a row, though, so they've shown some good form. Of course, the heartbeat of the Crows, Rory Sloane, is back, and that seems to be the barometer on where they go.
Could be one of the games of the round. Sort of sitting on the fence a little bit, and I probably tend to go for the home side when it's like that. So I'll go for the Brisbane Lions against the Crows.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Riley Knights and also Rory Atkins, just in their run. What they added to the team, their run, and be able to give the Crows the 4 quarters they need. And Seasman also is now, has got over his little hamstring or his injury, and he ran really well last Thursday night, and I think they, with Rory Sloane sort of coming back into the mix
love him.
there.
They love him.
I think it's. I think they'll be too good.
I think. Geelong sit in 8th spot. Melbourne in 6th. Form in the last 5 games the same. Both won 2 and lost 3.
Haven't had a great record out at Geelong for years, Melbourne. I think right at this point in time, though, their midfield is much more attacking, a little bit quicker. So I'm going to tip the D's. A little bit of an upset out there, but I think their form warrants that.
I'm going the D's. I can't see, with the hit-out scenario, it's just going to be so one-sided. I thought Geelong were a bit average on last week against the Crows with their getting at their clearances, and I think it's going to be even harder against Melbourne. So
It's good when you got Maxi Gawn steering the ship.
Oh.
Wow, hasn't he having a great season?
Having a great year.
Yeah, he is having a great year.
Huge, isn't he?
It's nearly Ned Kelly reborn, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Mate, you're saying that though, Melbourne copped a fair bit early in the season. Even Roosie fired a couple at Simon Goodwin for the way things were going. They've responded really well after that, haven't they?
Yeah, they just didn't find their mojo at the start of the year, and then they had a 4 or 5 week run after about round 5 or 6, and they've just gone from confidence to confidence, and you can see they're just playing that attacking game. So, and it breaks games open these days, with the speed.
You charge for a Brownlow?
I'd have to be.
I reckon
You'd have to be in contention.
He gets 45 hit-outs a week. It's just amazing.
I think he's had more than 40 hit-outs 13 times.
Yeah.
Which is
And his
unheard of.
marking's it's a real highlight of his game now. His marking that back line is outstanding.
And he's a great character off the ground too.
Yeah.
Isn't he? You
Great
just
for
can't
footy.
not like him, can you? Yeah.
Great for footy.
Sunday, Carlton are in 18th. Hawthorn are in a 10th spot. You'd expect the Hawks to bounce back, wouldn't
Yeah, couldn't pick Carlton, unfortunately, in current form.
Oh, it was perhaps 1987. We could have gone Carlton, but being
I don't reckon. I don't think Brownlows sticks are playing. Mate. All right. Eagles sit in 2nd spot. Of course, they lost big knick-knack. Bulldogs are in 14th, but it's at Optus. You'd go with the Eagles.
You'd have to go with the Eagles over there. They've got a bit of depth with Lysette coming in. He's playing good form at the moment at home. You'd have to pick the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, West Coast.
All right. Power sit in 5th. The Giants in 7th. 4 o'clock, 4:10 at Adelaide Oval on Sunday. Oof.
Again, one of those line in the sand games, and you go either way. But being a home
Paddy
game,
Ryder?
No Paddy Ryder. Who comes in for Paddy?
Well, look,
Pop
remember,
Dixon up there a bit.
Yeah, I think Dixon and Westhoff
Westhoff,
probably have to do the rucking. And look, there's been a great period as well when this year that Paddy hasn't been playing, and those guys have just done beautifully in the centre. I think home ground.
And I don't think Kenny will let him lose another one, especially after last week. So
I think he'd definitely be up and about.
home team side.
All right. Hey, thanks for staying with us, Richie.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. We look forward to your company next week. Bye for now.